Hello lovelies and welcome to the channel. So I have something a little bit different, a little bit but not really, if that makes sense. So I have my week 2 2017 Project Life process video. But something a little extra this week is if you've watched my videos you'll know that I'm on the Kitaholic Kits design team. And tomorrow, being Australia Day, we're having an online crop. And, you know, just challenges and games and things from the design team. And so this was designed, this project was done for my challenge, which was a Project Life challenge, a recipe challenge. And it was, as you saw at the beginning, it was to do a Project Life layout with cards made from 3 of on the list. So, yeah, that's what I did. I make my own filler cards. I probably should have made my own title card, but I cheated and used a card from the Inspire kit, which is one of my favourites. I love the watercolour look, but I do decide to make my own filler cards, I guess. Yeah, filler and journaling cards. And I'm drawing inspiration from the title card, and I wanted that whole watercolour whimsical look. It's a little bright. It turns out to be a lot brighter than that one, but I like the way it starts out. The orange, I think, was a bit too much, but I go with it, and in the end, it's not too bad. So I wanted them both to be very similar to start with, but then the way the ink was absorbing into one of the cards just looked a bit weird, so I end up covering most of that card up. But it's a good way to show you that even though the background starts out the same, you can make 2 totally different cards. So I'm using a doily. This is the card that didn't absorb the ink very well, and which is strange because it was the same card that you saw me cut in half, go figure. So I'm just adding a doily, and then I'm using a makeup sponge and some ink just to ink the edges of it, just to sort of blend it in a bit and tie it all together. We're mopping up the excess ink with a doily that I'll add to my mixed media stash. And then I decide to use some black ink to edge both of these cards, just to ground them a bit and make them look a little more finished and not floaty, if that makes sense. So on this card I'm going to do some journaling, and I'm going to journal about our Sunday when we went to Dreamworld. And I'm just going to cut some strips of paper, and I'm going to write my journaling on that. I'm going to use this tiny alpha to write Sunday, because that's when we went. And yeah, then I'm going to write about the 2 bottom photos. Well, not going to write about the photos actually. I'm just going to write about our day, how we went up to Dreamworld. During the Christmas holidays, Dreamworld were open till 9 o'clock at night. And the water park was open till 6, and they had this big pyrotechnic show, laser and light show at the end, which was really cool. And the 2 photos down the bottom are when we arrived at Dreamworld and then when we were leaving Dreamworld. And the picture on the bottom right that I've already decorated, because it was one of those, I saw something on a sheet, knew it would be perfect, so just quickly threw it together. Took me not even a minute to put that card together, and it's my favourite photo on the whole layout. This is my boys when they fell asleep at Dreamworld. They fell asleep on the way home from Dreamworld, just conked out in the car catching flies. It was really funny. Okay, so this is my title card. Now, I love this technique with these distress crayons. They're my absolute favourite. The orange I'm not a big fan of on this with the blue or the green or the teal, whatever colour it is. But I think yellow would have looked better and would have tied in more, but I didn't have a yellow in the distress crayons. And I did need to find a way to tie that orange in a bit more, but it just looks a little off. But anyway, it's done, it's on there, so obviously I'm going to stick with it. Now, these are just white foam thickers. And these distress crayons, what I do is I rub them on and then I smudge them together a bit. Obviously, I'm trying not to smudge the blue and the orange together because that makes mud. But I am just blending it into the foam thicker, and it works really well. These distress crayons colour these thickers beautifully. And then I'm just going to do a doodly border, but my lines end up being really wonky, so I decide to colour bits of it in where there's a bit of a gap and, you know, make it a bit more unique. And, you know, it doesn't look too bad by the time I'm done. So as I was going through some of my stash, I found the Cocoa Vanilla Hello Sunshine, I think it is, collection, this one here. And it just seemed to suit these photos perfectly, because on the other side of this spread is going to be a majority of photos from a day when we went in the pool. So I wanted nice, bright, summery collection, and this one was perfect for it. And also we're in the middle of a heat wave, so I grabbed most of the bits that I have from this collection, and that's what I've put on my desk to try and use. And this is the sticker sheet I'm working from now trying to finish my title card. I struggle with my title card a lot sometimes. It's one or the other. It either comes together really well or I struggle with it. Today was one of those days where I struggled with it. Like, I couldn't quite get it to look, I tried the 2 stickers, didn't like them, take them off, put them back on, take them off again, find something different. Yeah, in the end I settled with this and then just 2 little clusters with wood veneer and some enamel dots. I had wood veneer stars within reach, so I just used those on a lot of this layout. And then I just stamped my date. My Project Life date stamp is, funnily enough, out of date. It stops at 2016, and I'm devoed because I hate the double-sided ones. They're great for phrases, but I don't like my date stamp to be on another half of a phrase stamp. It bugs me. It's petty and silly, I know, but it bugs me. I just like a single date stamp, so I need a new one. So I have to go find one that goes past 2016. So I'm just working on my filler card now. And this is another sticker from the sticker sheet. Something about summer days, I can't remember. And then my other favourite is the phrases, word stickers, but these aren't stickers, they're cocoa vanilla. And yeah, there's some really good phrases on there, so I've just used those to finish off my filler card. Now I have to apologise for that fuzzy little line at the top. That's my frame. I didn't line up my camera properly and it really bugs me. I was not happy when I noticed this. I didn't notice until I'd finished the video, and I was very, very tempted to cut this whole section out, but of course I couldn't because it's the majority of my video. So thankfully it's not too bad, but I do apologise for that. Nothing frustrates me more than having a picture that's not. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. So this is a picture of, this top one is my boy Cooper on his iPad. I had woken up, ready to start the day, rolled over, and there he is laying on his iPad. And this little word phrase that I found on my desk, it says, "What should we do today?" And I thought that was quite perfect because, he's just, that's what he would rather do all day if he could. As would most kids, I guess. This is a picture of my youngest on his first day back at preschool. It's his last year at preschool this year. He's off to big boy school next year. So this is the first day of his last year at preschool. So we had to document that, of course. And so what happened is I wanted to put a wooden heart, and I have a good little set of them, but they're too fat. I like my wood veneer thin. Is it just me? I don't know, but it was too big, so I decided to cut it in half, which was a bit of fiddling. Use my craft knife and just cut it in half, and yeah. I think about adding a heart to my title card, but thankfully I don't, because that just would have looked weird. So I'm pretty sure this is my last photo that I'm embellishing now, and this is just a screenshot of my weather app. Screenshots and messages and memes and Facebook statuses are great to include if you don't have a lot of photos, or if there's something that, happens that you want to include, like, I don't know about you, if something interesting happens, chances are you're going to put it up on Facebook if you're a Facebook kind of person, and the best way to include that story in your Project Life is to take a screenshot of the status, and there you go. I've done that a couple of times. And messages with my husband that are generally funny too, so they've made it into our Project Life as well. So I wanted to decorate this a bit, and I found this really cool sun. Now, I know you're thinking 30 degrees isn't exactly a heat wave, but I think this app lies. There's no way it was 30 degrees that day. It can't be true. It's deceiving. But yeah, it was a pretty hot week, and so I just thought I'd put that in there as well. So this sun was too big, obviously. I didn't want to cover up the whole thing, but I did want to write heat wave with my awesome little tiny alphas. And I just wanted something else there. So I put the sun on there and cut most of it off. But if you look and keep an eye out, you'll see that I use the other half of it. So if you do things like that, keep them on your desk, because chances are, if you've cut something up, you can use it again. So this is where I use a lot of this collection up. Now, I was going through the ephemera, looking for something for one of my photos, and as I'm going through, I find so much that would be perfect on other photos in here. So I think pretty much every photo in this spread on this side is embellished with this ephemera pack. And isn't that awesome when you find a pack that suits perfectly? And if you look, that's actually all different elements. Like, we've got a banner, we've got a word, a round element, a sun, it's all different. So it doesn't look like it's all come from the same place, which is always good. So as I've found all the things that I like for each photo, I've put them on top of the photo, and now I'm going to go and put it all together. So this word die cut that says summer was perfect for this photo. This is a picture down the bottom. There's a picture of my nephew. he had a bit of anxiety getting in the pool at the beginning of the season, but as he's gotten more confident and gotten a floaty and things like that, he's really come into his own, and he now comes over a lot and just loves the pool, absolutely adores it, which is great. So we took lots of photos of that, and this is one of my favourites of him with his goggles all decked out, you know, having a good time in the pool. So as you can see, I do jump around a lot. I don't work on one card and then move on to the next and next. I jump all over the place, and I always tend to do it. Something pops into my head, I'm like, oh, that'll work perfectly, so I do that, and then I jump back. I do the same thing in my day-to-day life, especially when I'm cleaning. I jump from one thing to another, and then eventually get back to where I started. My husband thinks it's funny. Anyone else do that? So while I'm finishing up this photo, you will notice that I've sped the video up a lot again this time. This is sped up 4 times, and that's just because it was about originally over an hour long. And then after I sped it up and edited it a bit, I got down to 25 minutes, but I still think that's a little bit too long. I do like to try and keep my videos in the 10-15 minute mark, because one, talking for over 20 minutes isn't easy, and I tend to avoid the video and then not get it up, and it never gets done. Or I find that it might be boring yabbering on for 20 minutes. But let me know what you think. If you prefer it to be only half the speed and a bit slower, still sped up but a bit slower than this, so it's, you know, a little longer, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think. It does of course mean I'd have to yabber on for longer, and I don't know, would you like to watch an over 20-minute video? I don't know. But anyway, let me know what you prefer, the longer videos or the shorter ones. I would really love to hear what you think. Personally, I like the shorter videos. The voiceovers are much more doable, and I think much more interesting. They're not as drawn out. But, you know, that's my opinion. So let me know what you think. I'd love to hear what you prefer. So moving on to back to the layout, this is my second last photo. This is a selfie that Koopy and I took when we went to the movies. We went and saw Moana during the school holidays, and we had a lot of fun, and we always take a selfie with our tickets and our popcorn and that before we go in and send it to Dad and say, ha, we're at the movies and you're working. No, we're not that mean. We just like to take pictures for our album, of course. But yeah, so my favourite way to journal on a layout, as you saw, is to cut up strips and literally add it straight to the photo. And that's pretty much it for the layout. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and yeah, let me know in the comments below what you think. I would love to hear from you. So stay tuned later today for another video from the Kitaholics Australia Day crop. And thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye.